Now, Benj, let's get into this. I had Ajax winning this one quite easily, given how well they played in the group stages. They had 6 games there. They won all 6 of them. They are on top of the Eredivisie. They've played 23 games in Holland. They've scored 70 goals in those 23 games. And I think even more impressive, they've only given up 5 goals in 23 games in the Eredivisie. That's pretty ridiculous. But they come into Benfica, who have a long history of they've won this competition before in the European Cup. They produce some special players. The most recent one will be Darwin Nunez, who I think the number 9 for them. He'll probably get sold in the summer. And they go up early. Dusan Tadic scores a great goal, and then Sebastian Aller, who's leading the Golden Boot race in the Champions League, he gets an own goal, so that doesn't actually count. But at least he's scoring in the Champions League. But 5 minutes later, his head doesn't go down, Bench. He comes back and scores a goal that says quick reactions, beats Vertonghen to the rebound, and then makes it 2-1. And then Benfica basically turned it on the rest of the way. I thought I was really impressed with Benfica. They end up getting another goal by Yaremchuk to make it 2-2. And they probably deserved all 3 points. I had 3 points in a two-legged tie, but they deserved the win, I thought. They just were more proactive. And it seemed like, to something you had said before about Atleti, Ajax just seemed to get kind of casual, that it's almost like they already thought they won because they had the 2 leads. Okay, 1-0 when it went to 1-1. That was unlucky. It was an own goal. That happens. But then it was all Benfica from there. So what are your thoughts on this? Let's say from the outside looking in, when you see the results, I mean, I think we were all pretty surprised that Ajax didn't run away with this one.
Yeah, I was really shocked, especially, this is not a team that tends to blow leads, especially in Europe. I think these games just happen. Sebastian Aller will put it into his own net every once in a while, but don't worry, he'll make up for it at the other. And maybe it's just you need to make sure he just is in one penalty area, not the other. I think you still see in the goals, in Edson Alvarez's miss as well, some of the clips I've seen like that when Ajax light it up, Benfica couldn't live with them. But that maybe that they did come into this, and you could understand why, just thinking it's going to be really easy. They haven't been tested all season. And, we have had to keep saying this. It all the underlying numbers, the XG, Dusan Tadic's chance creation and expected assists and all that, it all looks wonderful. And it kind of convinces you that this can be good, but they hadn't been tested.
That's true.
I think in the end they'll get through, I think, and they'll come out of this stronger. And it might actually be that it means they're better off when they play whichever English team or European superpower they end up facing. But
I remember, I'm just going to jump in. I remember when they played Roma in the Europa League quarterfinals last year, and Roma had no business beating them over 2 legs. It was Ajax were the better team 98% of the time, but it was when they got casual, and it was in those fine margins where they just kind of shut off at the wrong time. Roma exploited that, took advantage. And somehow Roma beat them over 2 legs. I still can't even really explain how Paulo Fonseca, the manager at the time at Roma, pulled that off. And then, of course, Roma got decimated by Man United over 2 legs. Well, they're actually up early, and then Man United decided to switch it on and kind of show off their ability. But I just thought if Ajax had played over 2 legs against Man United, I think it would have been Ajax in the final against Villarreal last Europa League. But conversation for another time. There's something about this Ajax team, especially under Erik ten Hag, which needs to be looked at, because if he's going to go take a job somewhere else, there are these little tiny failures that we see along the way where, what is it? Why do they not have that mental fortitude in those key moments to get across the finish line to beat teams that they should beat? And they should have beaten Benfica today. They have the quality, they have the identity, but Benfica came in with a little bit more energy and a little bit more like, we're going to punch you in the face, and we want to see how you react to that. And it's not that Ajax backed off. It's just that they just weren't as loud and boisterous as they once were. And also, I want to say there was a little fight there between Darwin Nunez and Anthony, the Brazilian winger, who's off to a tremendous career too. 2 very talented young players here. And it looked like they kind of headbutted each other. And my favorite part about this whole thing was the referee handled it great. He could have easily gone to his pocket and given red cards to everybody. And that would have been kind of lame. And we've seen referees try to make it about them before. So that wouldn't have been a big surprise. But they're kind of going head to head, and then Anthony leans in, and Darwin Nunez, of course, falls back like he got shot or whatever, which is awesome. You love to see it. Darwin Nunez was already on a yellow, so the referee doesn't give him a yellow there. even though he could have, and he gives Anthony a yellow. Afterwards, these two guys, as they kind of come back into the scrum, because there's kind of a little bit of a scrum happening, these two guys just start like hugging each other and give each other like a very a loving headbutt from that point. It looked like they wanted to kiss each other. I was like, all right, the beautiful game at its peak right here. So it's pretty funny because I think at that time when they, you see red, right? And you lose your mind a little bit and you get a little emotional and you kind of forget what you're doing. You just want to beat that guy up or whatever. And then when they realize, hey, by the way, if I get a card here, I'm probably going to miss the next match. Let's just be friends. It was a really funny way to see. But I think it kind of was like a microcosm of the game a little bit, that there was some emotion, but Benfica had more of it. And I just don't think that Ajax necessarily responded. That said, it was still a 2-2 draw. If away goals were in there, Ajax probably feeling a little bit better about this, but it isn't. They still have not lost away from home this whole season in all competitions. So I guess that mental fortitude, Eric Ten Hag could be like, well, you still haven't lost away from home. So once you shut your mouth, James P. Conrad.
Also, I mean, look, take all the emotion out of this, be the nerd, but then look, Ajax are the team that the nerds love most of all. 11 shots, 2.15 expected goals. This team is making good chances.
Yeah.
And keep that up. And actually, I mean, Benfica's XG was pretty high for this game as well, 1.6 something. But it suggests, I mean, I haven't seen all this game. I've only seen the clips, but, sometimes we just read the data and make
sure. No, well, the data is probably going to point more to Ajax, but I would say that Benfica had that like intangibles of desire, right? There's no metric for desire currently. I'm sure they'll figure that out at some point.
Expected desire.
Expected desire points.